So today's topic will be studying about the biotechnology for crop improvement and future prospects of biotechnology for agriculture. That is, how biotechnology is used for the crop improvement purpose and what are the future opportunities of this biotechnology in the field of agriculture. So already we have dealt with genetic engineering and tissue culture. When we say biotechnology for crop improvement, we should always look into the prospects and constraints of various biotechnological techniques. Some may be beneficial or some may not be. So both we have to consider. And always you see that there has been a continuous controversy surrounding genetically modified food. That also should be kept in our mind. But we all know that every day there is increase in the world population. So this becomes a very challenging for the food market to provide food for all. Therefore, your conventional method or traditional method cannot meet this enormous amount of food supply. So that is why we go for the biotechnological means, using that techniques for production of the fruit. So it can be your genetic engineering, or you can use tissue culture. We can use molecular breeding techniques, or even molecular diagnostic techniques. So these all we can use so that we can improve the quality of a food, yield of a food. So if we look into this, like genetic engineering includes sustainability. What do we mean by sustainability? That is practicing agriculture, taking care of our environment and keeping our ecological balance. That is, I provide the techniques for only for my crop without tampering your environment or the ecological balance. That is known as the sustainability. I'm not disturbing the ecosystem or the biodiversity. Another important feature is the food security. That is, with the biotechnological techniques, I am going to increase the yield, both quantity and quality, so that I can supply rich calorie food along with your proteins, lipids, and other nutritional factors. Also, I'm going to produce novel biomaterials by using this genetic engineering techniques. That is plant-based pharmaceuticals, biofarming. I can produce bioplastics, biofuels. So this sustainability, food security, novel biomaterials cannot be met by your traditional or conventional methods. That is why we are going into the field of genetic engineering or molecular biology techniques, which is all an integral part of biotechnology subject. Okay, sorry for the slide, it is not visible. So how I am going to start to develop a plant using genetic engineering? First, remember students that whatever plants we have today, okay, it is mostly from the conventional and traditional breeding techniques. Okay, the best varieties we have got today because of those techniques, breeding techniques, which we spoke previously. So they are acting as a pool for us. And from that pool, we are going to take some plant and we are going to genetically modify it. So biotechnology becomes in what in conventional method we are actually going and seeing the phenotype. Based on the phenotype we are selecting. But when we say genetic engineering, we look into the genotype. What is the gene which is involved in this plant? That is what makes the difference between your traditional and the modern biotechnology. because your phenotype will show some variety, which is good, but its genotype will be something inferior. That inferiority will be masked. But when you're doing biotechnology method, you are looking into the genotype of the plant. Is it really having that good quality? So your biotechnology, what it is doing, it is bridging the gap between your phenotype and genotype. So whenever you're producing a novel plant material, okay, first you have to look into the new genotype which is present. Suppose say I have a plant material, it becomes important for you all to look the genotype of this plant. So if my desired trait is there in this plant, I can propagate this plant. And also remember, whenever you're doing conventional or traditional techniques, plant breeding techniques, it takes many years, okay, almost 10, 12 years. But here, the years, number of years is reduced. It may be something approximately 5 years, you can get your results. So whenever you're going into genetic techniques, the first thing is the production of novel plant by genetic engineering. You have to look into the genotype of the plant. After you select the genotype of that plant, then you have to proceed with your further experiment. So in the first step here, which it is not clearly visible to you all, it is known as the discovery. What is discovery? That is, what is my gene of interest? I have to collect what is my gene of interest by either by molecular biology techniques or omics techniques. Omic techniques means it involves proteomics, genomics, bioinformatics, all come into picture. Metabolics, that is all you study through gene level we are doing. So that is, you discover the gene. After you have discovered the gene of your interest, then what you have to do? You have to go for the production of that plant of interest. If I'm interested in the plant, then I have to go for the production. So how I'm going to produce that plant of interest? Okay, I have a plant of interest. I've selected this plant. Now I have to propagate that plant. The next method is known as the gene transfer. So what happens is, suppose say this is your gene of interest you have isolated. What you have to do is, I want to take this gene and put it into another plant. So what I'll do, gene transfer technique. It can involve transformation or vector expression and other forms. That is to tell that if I want to transfer this gene into another plant, I can use transformation technology. What is the transformation technology? You have many technologies like gene gun, or you can use biological material. What is your biological material here? It is the microorganism. And what is the name of that microorganism? It is agrobacteria. Okay. So this agrobacteria, is a soil dwelling organism. It is there already in the soil. And this we can make use of in transferring our gene. Or you can use your gene gun also, I told you. That is, we can see in the next slide. So by these two techniques, I can transfer my gene of interest by using either agrobacterium or any other means. For example, even gene gun. Okay, I have transferred my gene. Next, what? Next, I have to develop this plant. Okay. So what is the method I use? I use the tissue culture method. So whichever your callus, your cell or tissue, your protoplasm, whichever is carrying your gene of interest, that callus or gene, that callus or your whatever, your explant, you have to propagate by using tissue culture techniques. Then what you do is you have to, after the plant develops in tissue culture in vitro, it starts developing, you have to go for plant regeneration. That is, it has to develop, it has to undergo cell division, it has to go for a differentiation, redifferentiation, dedifferentiation, all this comes. Okay, and then you will get your plant of interest. Okay, you are thinking that you have transferred the gene of interest into the plant by all this means, by gene transfer techniques, culturing your plant in tissue culture and developing a full plant, and the full plant has come out here. Next, what we have to do is we are seeing into this. This is your genetic engineering, this step. Okay. Then what the scientists do is they try to breed this plant in the field. The resulting new plant, that is this plant, okay, the red color what I have marked, it should undergo several assessment, screening and selection to select the improved variety. Because always if there are, remember from tissue culture, for example, I'm saying 10 plants I have generated. Will all the 10 plants contain the genetically modified gene? No. Some wouldn't have. The experiment would have failed. That is why you're going for the field trial. That is high throughput physiological based screening platform. Okay. So here what you're doing is you are seeing to the plant, you're assessing the plant, you're screening the plant and selecting only the best variety. That is what even the conventional people are doing. But here what you do is you see it in the molecular level, the gene level, whether your gene of interest is there in that. Then if it is not there, you discard that plant. But if your gene what of interest is present in that plant, then you go for the field. So in the field, they will grow and you can propagate this plant. So the yield, the trait, for example, I'm choosing a plant which can tolerate stress. All this quality are there in the plant means we can develop it in the field, we can commercialize, otherwise it should be discarded. So in genetic engineering, what we are doing is we are bridging the gap between your phenotype and the genotype. We are more looking into the genotype of the plant. First, what we have to do is morphologically, you will see the phenotypic nature of the plant. You take that plant and look into the genes of that plant. Is it carrying the particular trait of interest? Yes, it is carrying the trait of interest. Then what I'll do is I want to take this gene and put it into another plant so that another plant also will carry the good qualities of that A plant. So what I'll do is I'll use the technology known as gene transfer. I can use agrobacterium or I can use gene gun, or there are many more techniques. So using this, what I'm doing is I'm injecting my gene of interest to the second plant. It may be a cell, it may be a tissue, it can be an organ, it can be a protoplast, it can be a callus. So that will carry a gene of interest. After that, what I'll do, I'll go for tissue culturing because I want to develop that plant in the laboratory, not in the field. First, you'll not go and do anything in the field. You will do it in the tissue culture laboratory in vitro. You provide all the nutrition, you provide the environmental condition, and what happens, it starts developing. Cell division will occur, organogenesis will appear, embryogenesis will form. And then what you are going to do is you are going for high throughput physiological based screening platform. That is, you can use molecular marker techniques. Okay, suppose say if your plant is having stress tolerance here. Okay, if there is this plant is having, it can withstand stress. Okay, and another plant cannot withstand stress. This one B, it cannot withstand stress. So when you look into the genotype of this plant and this plant, you'll come to know the difference. Okay, this will be having a particular sequence which is not present in this B plant. So this sequence, whatever is present in A plant, which is giving me the stress resistance, that is called as a marker and identification. It is different from other plants. Okay. Now you also have this CRISPR-Cas, which won the 2020 Nobel Prize Award. Okay, wherein what they're doing the gene editing. They've gone to that level. Okay, manipulating the gene, cutting the gene, all those. So whichever has failed, which is not up to your mark, you discard that, and which has passed your screening, your assessment test, your selection test, then you grow it in the field. So whatever we spoke now, that is the transfer of gene from an organism into your plant of interest. That process is known as recombinant DNA techniques. I told you, you can transfer the gene from the same kingdom or different kingdoms. Or you can just even manipulate the genes also, tweaking, I told, all those three methods. So this process is, this employing recombinant DNA technique is known as genetic engineering. So the transfer of the gene from organisms into the plant cell and its integration into the plant material is known as the genetic engineering technique. And a plant which contains your foreign gene is known as a transgene. So this plant, it is containing what? It is containing a foreign gene. That is why we call it as a transgene. And the process what I'm doing, taking the foreign gene and inserting it to the plant, that process is known as transgenesis. So by doing so, it has the potential to change the phenotype of the organism. So the first genetically modified plant was the flavor saver. Actually, it is flavor, FLAVOUR, saver, SAVER. We have done it in the short form, flavor saver. So it is genetically modified tomato, was first commercially produced by using the genetic engineering technique, and it also was granted license for the human consumption. But as you all know that today there is no more production of this flavor saver tomato because of its own problem what the company has faced. So like I told you, like I used the word marker, if you remember, marker assisted selection. What do you mean by that? Marker assisted selection. Okay, this is a variation of traditional plant breeding wherein DNA sequence differences are used to identify the plant varieties that carry a desired trait. So if I have plant 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and suppose I am running this all plant in a gel because I want to see the DNA. Okay, let it be like this. And this is my plant 1 DNA, 2 DNA, 3 DNA, 4 DNA. So year 1, year 1, year 1, year. Okay. So year, this is all same. So you see that these genes are same in 1, 2, 3, 4. But here you see this 1, 3 and 4, they have the same gene, but this 2 is showing a different. So 2 is something different from 1, 3 and 4. It is having some different character. That is, here what we are doing, what is our sentence telling? DNA sequence difference. What is a DNA sequence means? You have your 4 nucleotide A, T, G, C. Are they present in the same form or in the different form? Okay, for a plant maybe like A, T, G, C, C it is. For another plant maybe it is T, A, G, or then G, T, T, something like this. Okay, so this is becomes the sequence of the plant. For one plant it will be like this, for another plant it will be like this. And as I told you, stress, the plant which can have stress, it will have a different gene sequence when you compare with other plants. Suppose say this, the plant 2, it is showing completely different gene sequence from the others. And when you know that it is showing some what it can withstand some biological stress or abiological stress. So you can select only this plant based on your DNA sequencing. So that is called as a marker assisted selection. This has a unique marker compared to the other, or unique genes compared to the other plant. So marker assisted selection refers to such a breeding procedure in which DNA marker detection and selections are integrated into your traditional breeding. So now I know that the plant 2 is having the gene of my interest, that is it can withstand stress. So what will I do is I'll try to transfer this gene into other plant so that even the other plant can withstand the stress. This is about the marker assisted selection. Remember, in marker assisted selection, there will be a unique DNA sequence present in some plants which can withstand pesticides or herbicides or weeds. That one we are identifying, that is acting as a marker. So I take the gene and put it into another plant so that that also can become resistance to pest, herbicide, and so on. So as I told you, like how people are doing this transferring of the genes. One is like this agrobacterium. Okay, we'll be studying about agrobacterium in detail, the genetics of agrobacterium. So agrobacterium is what? It is a soil dwelling bacteria. It is always present in the soil. And then this bacteria, no, it can infect, this is the bacteria, it can infect a plant. Suppose say a plant is having a wound. From that wound, what will happen? It releases some sap. Okay, so some chemical agents. Okay, that agents will give signal to the this bacteria. So this bacteria which is there in the soil, it can get the signal telling this, okay, this plant is being wounded, so I can enter into this plant. It will enter into the wound of the plant because of the chemotaxis, some chemicals reaction which this bacteria has sensed from this plant. Then after it enters into it, what happens? The bacteria, this is the chromosomal DNA of the bacteria. What is important for us is the plasmid DNA of the bacteria. This is called as the TI plasmid. TI means tumor inducing plasmid. Now once this bacteria enters into your plant, then what happens? This plasmid is there now, TI plasmid. It goes into the plant, gets integrated into the plant's DNA, and it will start dividing. Uncontrollable division it causes, and that division, it starts swelling in this region, forming a tumor. That is called as a crown gall tumor. Who is causing the crown gall tumor? It is my agrobacterium. Where is my agrobacterium? It is present in the soil. How did it enter into the plant? Because my plant had a wound, and from that wound some residues came out. That are the chemical signals, okay, particularly phenolics. And it sensed that, this bacteria sensed that chemical, and it entered into the wound, and it has caused the disease known as the crown gall disease, which is an uncontrollable cell division. So scientists came to know about this, and now what they did was, this plasmid is a big plasmid. Okay, I'll speak to you in detail. There will be some junk sequences also, junk DNA. So what the scientists thought was, I'll remove this junk ones. It is of no use. Okay, instead of that, in that place, I will add my gene of interest. So what did they do? They will add the gene of interest, the scientist. And they will see that there is a wound in a plant or in the leaf, and allow this bacteria to infect. Now what is happening? The plasmids get integrated into your plant, and now it starts, your this plasmid it gets integrated. Along with it, what is getting integrated? Your gene of interest is also getting integrated. And now that plant will be having a new gene of your interest. That example in the next slide you can see. For time being, remember that agrobacterium, we can use it for transferring your gene of interest. TI means tumor-inducing plasmid integrates into the DNA of your host, making it an ideal vehicle. Who is the vehicle? This fellow is the vehicle for transforming the recombinant DNA into the plant. So who's providing the gene of interest? It is we who are providing the gene of interest. I want my gene means whatever the gene my plant is having, herbicide resistant or whatever it is, I wanted to put it into this plant. I cannot do it. So instead of I use agrobacterium, I'll integrate my gene of interest into this fellow, then I'll integrate it into the plant. This is the same technique, leaf fragment technique using agrobacterium. See here, you can see that what the scientists have done is they have cut the disc shape of the leaf. So briefly culture the leaf disc in genetically modified agrobacterium. This is a media. This media is already containing what? Agrobacterium. To this, what you're adding your leaf disc. Then what they did, transfer to the filter paper over the nerve cells and culture for 2 to 3 days. You leave it like that for 2 to 3 days. Now what happens? You have to develop that plant. So you provide all the nutritional content, transfer to shoot stimulating media, because this is still a leaf. So you add what? You'll be adding your cytokinin so that the shoot starts developing. Then you try to add auxin, then the root starts developing. So once the shoot and the roots have been developed, it is a fully developed plant now. Transfer to the soil after 3 weeks, regenerated engineered plant. That what it means to tell is, now what happens in the disc and agrobacteria are present in the media. Slowly your agrobacteria will enter into your leaf. Then what you have to do is, simply I can't keep the leaf. I have to grow that leaf by tissue culture techniques into a whole plant. So I'll provide the growth regulators. Produce the shoot, I'll produce the root, and it will develop into a whole plant. And my whole plant, what it is containing? It is containing my agrobacteria. This is how is the technique. And another technique is transformation by gene gun method. Okay, see, this is the gene gun, a very modern technique. It just works as the gun. Okay, so transformation by gene gun method. What it does is, see, like you have a DNA. Okay, into this DNA, you have inserted your DNA of interest. Then what they'll do is, I'll be explaining all this in detail when we come into individual chapter, but time being, please remember these. So this is the plasmid of our interest. What I'll do is, I'll coat it with the gold microparticles. Okay, my DNA is now coated with the gold particles. Then what will I do is, I will load it into this gun. Okay, I have loaded into the gun. And here, what is this yellow color, what you're seeing? It is my cell. My cell means my plant cell or animal cell, whatever it is. Okay, this is my plant cell of interest. That is, I want this DNA to enter into the cell of this plant. So what I have done is, I have coated the DNA of my interest with the gold particles and I have put it inside the gun, and then I will shoot it. When I shoot it, what happens is, all these gold particles carrying your DNA will enter into your cell or into your protoplasm. See here, it has entered. Then what will I do is, I have to check now whether this is actually carrying the gene of interest, whether all this material have gone into my cell. So what I'll do is, I'll put it in a selection media. There is a media called as a selection media, which will allow only those cells which are being transformed. Transformed means which is carrying the foreign material. It will allow only the transformed cell to develop. So place onto the filter and select for the marker. So only those cells which are carrying this will start growing in this media. This is how. So same thing here. Here what we are doing, here we are using agrobacteria. And then we are selecting again. You put it in a selection media so that only those which are carrying your agrobacterium, that leaf disc which is carrying your agrobacterium, only that gets selected here. Similarly, here also, only those transformed cells means which is carrying the gene of my interest. Okay, this only that will develop. Last one shall wind up. Antisense technology. Okay, this was the first technology used for your flavor saver tomato, which was introduced in 1994. What happens here is, in the normal tomato, it will produce an enzyme. And what is the name of that enzyme? Polygalloprinase. So this is polygalloprinase, is an enzyme produced by all tomatoes. Now, what is the function of this polygalloprinase? These polygalloprinase, no, they'll go and attack the pectin. They'll go and act on the pectin. They'll go and destroy this pectin. Where is the pectin present? It is present on the cell walls of your tomato. What is the function of the pectin? It gives a mechanical strength to your tomato. But as it ripens, what happens? Your polygalloprinase enzyme goes and attacks this pectin, which is there on the cell wall of your tomato. So it gets destroyed. So the mechanical strength of your tomato is lost, and it results in rottening of your tomato. Now, if the tomato keeps rottening, it's very difficult for the agricultural market. Very soon it is getting destroyed and it should be dumped. So what the scientists did was, they isolated this gene. Which gene? Polygalloprinase gene they isolated. Okay, I have isolated the gene. Now what they did was, they created a reverse gene for this. Okay, so this gene is like this. Your polygalloprinase gene is like this. They took out this polygalloprinase gene, studied the genes, and created a reverse of this. So this is your sense strand, and this becomes your anti-sense strand. Opposite function it's doing. Then what they did was, they injected it into your fresh tomato. Which one? This antisense they injected. Hope there is no confusion. What they did was, they took out the polygalloprinase gene and synthesized a new gene which is reverse to your polygalloprinase. So forget about all this. This is my new gene and my new tomato is here. I will introduce this gene into my tomato. Now this polygalloprinase is already there now. Okay, here it is there. Polygalloprinase gene is already there in this tomato. What did I do? I have inserted a reverse copy of that gene, that is antisense mRNA. Now these two will be complementary and they will bind. Always you know that mRNA are single stranded. Now they have become double stranded. They become unstable and inactive. Who? Your PG gene, polygalloprinase tail. It is carrying this antisense RNA now, mRNA. So it will become unstable, it will become inactive. So this polygalloprinase will not be able to destroy your pectin. So your tomato will be ripened, but there will be no rottening up to at least 3 weeks. This was the idea behind that industry who started this flavor saver. That is, polygalloprinase there. Take the gene, construct a reverse gene, then put it into your tomato so that it will carry the gene of polygalloprinase and the newly synthesized gene. That is, one is sense strand, one is antisense strand. That will become unstable, inactive. That is, your PG activity is lost, and then it cannot attack your pectin, and you will get your good variety of tomato.